December 8, 2013 at 3:30 p.m., the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office responded to reports of shots fired in a traffic crash at the 1500 block of West State Street. When police officers arrived, they found the victim inside his vehicle and suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. The victim died at the scene. Our homicide unit responded to the scene and conducted an investigation, and we learned that the victim went over to that address to meet a friend. And while that victim waited for the friend, the suspect approached the car, and basically between the victim and the suspect, they brokered a drug transaction. While the victim was in the process of selling drugs, the suspect pulled out a handgun and shot our victim multiple times. The victim tried to drive away, and the suspect actually chased after the victim while he was driving away and continued to fire upon our victim. The victim's vehicle crashed into a utility pole, and the suspect at that point actually reached into the car and stole a wristwatch from our victim and then fled. The witnesses that were in the area actually helped us to identify the suspect, and I want to thank the media outlets for really putting this information out there, because on Saturday, December 14th at 7:30 a.m., he turned himself into the police memorial building. He met with our homicide detectives and they interviewed him. He did confess to committing this crime, and our victim, our victim's name is Jonathan Corey Youngblood, and he's a 29-year-old male. And the suspect is Rayvon Deshaun Sanders, and he's a 23-year-old male. Our victim's 29 and our suspect's 23 years old. I'll take any questions on that one that you might have. Yes,
Mike Powers, Channel 4. Is the watch the only thing this guy got out of this robbery?
That's correct, yes.
Guy died for a watch?
Yes.
Robert Jackson, Action News. Any reason, any motive why this kind of savagery?
No. He confessed to committing the crime, but I can't give an explanation as far as why he did what he did. I mean, it all stemmed from a drug transaction, and then he just started firing at the victim and killing him.
They knew each other, obviously, beforehand?
I don't believe they had any type of relationship before. He just, like I said, he had driven over to the address there, and basically he was waiting for a friend to come out, at which point the suspect came up and all started over drugs.
Priors on both of them?
I don't know about the victim. With the suspect, yeah, the suspect's been arrested before. I've got his criminal history. The suspect's been arrested for burglary, making threats, possession of marijuana less than 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as a traffic offense.
Stepping down WOKV, did the suspect have any kind of prior relationship with the friend the victim was waiting for? Do you know?
I don't have that answer. Yeah, I don't have that answer.
Did the suspect live in the area or give any reason why he was in that area?
Well, yeah, the suspect actually lived, close by where the actual incident happened.
Any further questions?
Jackson again. What drugs?
Marijuana.
Any further questions on this case? Okay.
Okay, next one I'm going to speak about is going to be the Mojo's Barbecue Restaurant. If you remember, back on July 8th, 2013 at 3 a.m., we had a suspect enter the closed business of Mojo's Barbecue Restaurant, where our victim and a witness were working inside. The suspect attempted to rob our victim and then shot him in the chest, and then the suspect fled. The suspect, if you remember, was also arrested on July 9th at about 3:30 p.m. on the west side. He was arrested for the CVS robbery. And he was arrested for the CVS robbery, which was a store. He actually shot a store clerk at 4475 San Juan Avenue. The suspect, like I said, he was arrested back in July. He's remained incarcerated up until that time. And recently we actually charged him. He was arrested on December 13th at about 1:42 p.m. and charged with the murder and robbery. The victim in that case is going to be Robert Clark Sutton. He's a 54-year-old male. And the suspect is Herman Isaiah Pickens, and he's a 24-year-old male. And I'll take any questions on that you might have.
Stephanie Brown, WOKV, is there a reason it took so long to get those charges formalized?
It did. With this case, you may have the information there before you, but basically the victim one of the projectiles that was taken out of the victim was compared to the handgun, because Pickens was actually, when he was arrested, we did recover a firearm and that matched. So that was one of the things. We also had some video evidence that we had to wait to pretty much do a comparison of, and that's the reason for the delay in the arrest. We weren't concerned with him getting out. He was pretty much incarcerated ever since that time. So once the appropriate time came, we did add the charges.
Roger Weeder, First Coast News. Just for clarification, CBS, that was just an armed robbery, right?
It was an armed robbery, and also Pickens shot the clerk in the head. But the clerk did survive, yes.
Gotcha. And so he was incarcerated. Now additional charges with the, what was the name of that place?
Mojo's Bar.
Mojo's.
Barbecue. Gotcha.
Yes.
Frank Powers from Channel 4. Is this typical time for FDLE to turn around ballistics tests?
I don't. I'd probably urge you to kind of speak with them as far as the turnaround time and everything. But I don't know what their, if it depends on backlog or anything at all. But also, you got to remember in these cases, we have him. He's in custody. We want to make sure that we have the right guy, and we can rule out any other, potential suspects or anything at all. And that sometimes, these are, even though he's in custody, it may be something. We've got other charges that we have on him as well. So there's also I guess from a prosecution standpoint, sometimes there's reasons why,
Sure.
The arrest doesn't take place as soon after.
He wasn't going anywhere, and you didn't
No.
want the clock to start ticking.
He was not.
Dana Time Jr., he was held without bail, or was he just held pending new charges? I mean, there was no bail in the armed robbery.
I don't believe there was, and I'm going from, I don't have the information before me, but I believe he was pretty much being held without bond.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I know he has a little bit of a record here, but was there any reason given for all of a sudden 2 violent armed robberies kind of in such close proximity to each other? Was there any motive beyond just robbery here?
No, as he committed the Mojos, and then within about 15 minutes, he actually went over to CBS and committed that one. When we spoke to him, he basically denied shooting and killing the victim in the Mojos, but there's no explanation for senseless acts.
Robert Jackson actually made any surveillance
Yes,
cameras on either one of these?
in the first one that I spoke about, I don't know if you're asking about that one or the
The
Mojos
Mojos,
and CBS.
yeah.
Yeah, CBS we had video, and we also had some other video evidence from local businesses that were around that area as well.
Any further questions? Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.